Now it's time to be dangerous. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you were destined to become.
Hey, what's going on? This is Eric from Raw Minds, and we have Owen. He's not in the best internet place right now, so we'll just bear with it, but he's here with us. That's awesome. He's face behind Raw Minds. He's a good friend of mine, and he's standing in for Anthony because Anthony's on his way to be a fireman, man. So we're proud of him for that. So that's pretty awesome. And today we got a great guest. We met him on TikTok. He's got a great story. He's doing some great things for the community. He's built a community. He's even built a little bit of a farmland on his area that he helps other people with. So on that note, we'll bring out Steven, and he'll tell it better than I did because I'm just gonna butcher his shit. There you go, Steven. How's it going, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to Raw Minds, man.
Thank you.
I just want to say first off, man, I love what you're doing. You know what you've went through, and then what you're doing for the community and helping people, and it's a pretty cool story how you told me you just picked up and left. But we'll get to that point. But why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Where do we start? I'm Steve. I'm 42. Was in a car accident in 2020. I was hit by a drunk driver. He left me there on the side of the road in the middle of the day, middle of the afternoon on a Sunday. I was just driving home. That left me with a traumatic brain injury. Derailed my life, and left me in a spot where I had no direction. I'd kind of lost, the typical trajectory that I maybe had been planning on. I'd had a pile of jobs, a pile of experiences. I get journeyman trade tickets and drove truck and went to university, college, trade school, you name it. I've done just about everything. Jumped out of helicopters, been a firefighter, took nursing. And all of a sudden, one day, you've just kind of got a truck driving license, air brakes, and all the kind. Like I've done a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden, I lost that ability to be able to do those things, which was quite the journey. It really left you on a spot of chaos, and loss of self identity was tremendous.
It's almost like you're like rebuilding yourself all over again. You would have to, right? You're trying to find out who you are, really.
Yeah, it was like being a complete stranger.
Yeah. That alone is probably just very difficult in your head, right? Trying to figure out, you thought who you were one day, and then all of a sudden you're not that person anymore because of what happened.
Correct. And it's like I spent a lot of. I'm a very reflective thinker, and I pre-plan in that, and it was a scenario I hadn't prepared for. I think going along on this journey, I was faced with a lot of scenarios that I don't think your average person either faces or develops the tools or plan to. You know what I mean? It's like nobody plans on getting cancer, so they don't know how to deal with it when it happens because it's a scenario they never really seriously entertain. Like, what if it actually happened? Kind of like that. It's just like I never expected to have to deal with the losses that I had to deal with, say deficits. Like I was always really good at math. I always expected to be good at math. I never entertained a world or an idea of a life that I wouldn't be good at math. And as trivial as that might sound, it was a substantial part of who I was. I tutored and had been offered a job as a math instructor at a college, and I tutored since I was a kid. I look forward to tutoring my kids, and to not be able to do that, it's a tremendous adjustment. I always give the example, because I'm tall, so I say, what if I lost the ability to dunk a basketball? And people go like it's a big deal. And it's like, okay, but what if I was Michael Jordan and now I can't dunk a basketball? Now I've lost everything just because you don't grasp how important that loss is to me in my life. It's a very, like multitasking. I've lost the ability to multitask because of my brain injury, and that's taken away cooking. It's difficult for me to make a meal with more than one dish. Even just making breakfast is a challenge. It shows up everywhere. So I had a huge pile of changes, and then somewhere along the way, I have so much to talk about. I tried to outrun my injuries for the first 2 years, probably, where I just over treated, and it wasn't until my wife Googled the brain injury clinic here in Nova Scotia, because even though I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada, and even though there might be some resources out there, the healthcare system doesn't fill you in on what's available, so you just end up kind of
Lost
fumbling your
almost.
way through,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think I was probably about 18 months in, and I got there, and I was going to 9 or 10 appointments a week, and with some not so good providers, just desperate to figure out a way to get better, doing whatever it would take, seeing whoever I'd have to see, and putting in 8,000 kilometers every 3 months and travel for care. And then I get to the brain injury clinic, and she goes, if you'd have got here in the first week or two, you'd be in a better spot than you are now, because you've like overdone it. You didn't rest enough. And it's like, how bittersweet to get 18 months of like bending over backwards trying to be better, just to get to a spot where it's like you made it a challenge, like you wrecked it. Worse
Yeah.
off because you tried too hard. Like that was,
Yeah.
that was a hard day.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely it's what's the word? Discouraging.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
bittersweet.
Definitely.
Like you
Yeah.
finally get to a place where they're better equipped to handle your situation, but you're in a worse off spot because it took, like, I don't know. It's like trying and still failing because you didn't try in the right spot. Kind of like
Yeah.
that. It's like, man, I put all the effort in. It was just slightly misdirected, and it just
Yeah.
didn't have that return that I was hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it probably really affected your mental health going through
100%.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got, like, I'll lead into this. I got grit. I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of, I don't think I don't think it's very common. And I was going to write a book. So somewhere along the way, I was looking. How about I'll get back on my timeline? Somewhere along the way, I was like kind of lost feeling. Once I got diagnosed with catastrophic injuries. Catastrophic is the term the medical industry uses to say like it's not going to get any better. Which was a hard day. I always picture it in my head. It's like I got to think of a better reference, but I always think of like some movie where the guy's carrying the guy out of the war zone, and and everybody's all wounded, and then he gets to the medevac place at the end, and he like drops the buddy or kid or partner or whoever it is, and then kind of collapses. It's like, it's hard for me to think about. It's like bittersweet. Again, it's a tremendous relief because I had seen something like 37 or 47 doctors, something like that, healthcare providers, everybody I could see, everybody I could go to see, just trying to get better. And you kind of reach this point where there wasn't any more options really, and the doctor's like, I don't know where else to send you. They're like, you've seen more care than any personal injury. My lawyer said the same thing. The doctor said the same thing. And it was kind of some of the care providers, it kind of all came at once. It was kind of like, I could put down the baggage of doing everything I could, because I've got kids, and I didn't want to look back in 10 years and think, what if I'd have tried that? Would I have been better?
Yeah.
And so it's like there was relief that I had tried as much as I could have tried. And
Yeah.
and like now I think I'm at 57 healthcare providers so far
Crazy.
since my accident. Yeah, and so it was just like this relief that I could say to my kids that I tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't miss.
How did that feel though? Like, how did that make you feel every time like you tried something else and it just didn't go the way that you planned?
Because that happened a lot, and
Yeah.
I just don't have that off switch. So I understand people that do. Like I saw, there's a study where they like talk about experimental medicine in terminal patients, and it's like a hope scale. And what happens is like, so they're terminal, so they're kind of into the experimental medicine stage, and it's like they'll have a baseline of hope, and then they'll try a new drug, and hope comes up, and then the drug doesn't work, and then they end up like at a net negative from where they were before they tried the med. And then the next week comes along, new doctor, new pill, so they try and it bumps again, and then you end up at a lower net negative. And then it's like, I think the average patient will only try something like 3 or 4 times before they're like, no more meds, like because they crashed. And it's like I said, I've seen like at least 50 doctors and healthcare providers for sure. And it's like, so there's, I don't know, for some reason I call it unrelenting grit. And
I love it.
yeah, and I was going to write a book about it, and so that, just to finish
I
that up,
still think you should, man.
I'm
I
working
still
on it.
think you
I'm thinking
should.
about it. But to finish that up, it was like relief that I had tried all the care I could, but hopeless in that I couldn't find any more help. That Like I had to come face to face with my injuries that day, all in one day, one sentence. It took me 6 months to process it, but it was like felt like I would be quitting voluntarily until that day. Like I couldn't give up because of my kids. I had to do whatever I could, you know? And then when that happened, they're just like we can't help you. It took the choice away from me maybe, so it was kind of relief, like, oh my God, I can rest. That was the guy in the movie, you know, he's like, I made it, poof, down,
Yeah.
drop everything, like, oh thank God. And then you like look and it's like there's nowhere to go tomorrow. I never get better. So it was like gotta start to come to terms. So in kind of like I wouldn't accept the term new normal. I hated it. I didn't want to
Hmm.
hear it. I didn't want to hear it because I wanted to be back to whoever I was. And then so within your limitations, because I always compared it to like if I had lost a leg or something, it would have been easier because it's a seen injury. I would go to bed and I wouldn't think I'll have a leg tomorrow. You just don't think that, right?
Yeah.
But with like multitasking, it's like that. Say, I forget I can't multitask until I try to multitask, and then I burn breakfast and I'm like, oh, yeah, I can't. So it's like reliving that heartache every time. It's like, you know, it's like this.
What do you say? What's your biggest struggles? You would have to say.
When? Now?
Just yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's come a long way. I'll think about that. I'll give you an answer after. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay.
Since 2020. Since 2020.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
Since my accident, I've had like something like 5 massage therapists and 7 physios, and I've got 3 MRIs. I have a neurologist and a neural optometrist. I've had the prism glasses and done the thing, and weighted blankets and a naturopath, and you name it, I've seen it. Audiology, I've done hearing tests and done everything because I got like side impact blackout kind of from a car accident.
Was it like a T-bone or was it like from behind?
No, he was drunk and everything else coming down the exit ramp in the wrong direction. So
Oh
like
my
the exit
God.
ramp for traffic going this way, he came down that and then swerved in front of me. I think he was just trying to take his life.
Really?
Yeah, because he pulled it in front of me and just sat in my lane.
And then you would be collateral damage, which is fucking
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. That's not, that's a selfish decision usually. So
Definitely.
yeah. So okay, so so we're moving along. So like partway through, let's say the first 2 years was a very different person. I read a book called To Root and to Rise. It's by Carol Starr. I suggest it to everyone. It's like $12 on whatever Audible, Amazon, and it's in my Linktree store on Menthrive Daily. Should I plug myself some?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. I
Yeah,
want you to plug
it's
yourself.
all good.
Sorry. Sorry. Please. Please. I
Okay.
was just yeah. I won't. Yeah. Please.
Well, I started I lost purpose, and she talks about it in the book where there's like pre-accident and post-accident Carol from the moment, and I kind of realized like this applies to all trauma. Like this could be an SA or domestic violence or like a car accident or a bad medical. There's a moment, a break in your life timeline from trauma which separates those two people to before and after are not the same person. And that was a pivotal part for me. That book changed my life. I recommend it to caretakers of loved ones of people with trauma because it's just, she's got a brain injury written for people with brain injuries, and it's just like, it helped to sort out that I couldn't judge myself by who I was before. Like making myself feel stupid for not being able to do math when it was so easy before and now I can't, and then make like self-attacking myself. I called it a mental prison.
Yeah.
Put myself in this mental prison, because I know me and nobody knows me as much as I know me, and I all these losses that only I know about. It's easy to become an
Yeah.
island, and it's like it's no wonder people turn to substances because the crutch and the coping and the escape and it's a horrible place you can put yourself. I've never been that horrible to anybody in my life ever. And so anyway, so that's an interesting book. We should talk more about it. But so I needed something to do for purpose because I have children. My oldest is only 6, and I have 4 children. And to be a role model, I started growing food for people that are struggling, and a little charity ranch. I don't know, it's going pretty well. Got into like doing a little bit of animals and stuff as much as I could, and that basically doing donation food. I don't. It's a net loss. I don't make anything. I lose my shirt, and that's okay. And then we had some space, so that kind of rolled into a housing project. So, um, here in Nova Scotia. I made like 12 sites for, actually I have the first people coming tomorrow. The first people, yeah. It's the people that live in, like I've met people here that live in sheds, like 2x4 plywood sheds, live there year round. No insulation.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
pretty hard
And it's
here.
cold over there too in the winters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. We had the winter before last, it hit 48 below Celsius.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And they're
So,
in the shed with no
yep,
insulation.
yep. Breaks your heart. So,
Good for you, man.
well, I'm trying,
Good for
right?
you.
And then
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, so that's a big. I found God along the way when I felt hopeless. That was kind of part of my turning point because I started reading the Bible because everything I had ever tried just didn't seem to work. And I started reading the Bible and things started to get better. So then, fast forward to now, about, I don't know, what, 6, 7 weeks ago, I started making a TikTok. And I thought, I'll just reach out to see, I like Jordan Peterson. I like these guys. I know there's a lot of the 20-something year old men are struggling. So I started a channel called Men Thrive Daily. And it turns out half of my followers are women, probably 60%. So it's like We Thrive Daily, so I should change it to or something. Yeah. But I started out doing like a faceless thing. I wanted it to, I never wanted to be on any of these medias telling my story, and then I ended up on it. And then you're like, well, why don't we just just introduce yourself, make one face, and then you're like, no, it seemed to go well. So like maybe we'll talk about my accident a little bit. And I wrote it out one day, and I had it sitting there for like a week before I posted it. It's just because it broke my heart. It was very raw, to use a term, and
Mm-hmm.
it really took me back. And then I got invited on here. So I was like, well, because this was a few weeks out, this show. So I was like, well, we can make more videos and get used to it so I don't look like a fool. And now I do a live show on Thursdays called Thrive
Yeah.
Thursdays, 7 Eastern, where I've had a guest now, I think 6 now.
And that's on TikTok, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on all the other stuff. I'm branching out to them slowly, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm main
Yeah.
on TikTok, and now in 6 weeks, I have 550,000 views. And
Nice, man.
we've done 6 live shows, and the newest project it's my pinned video on there, is I wanted a way, I never wanted the mental health stuff to be paywall, like behind a paywall, like if it was going to help anybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at Man Thrive Daily on TikTok, for subscribers, I wanted something for subscribers. So I have some space, so we're going to do a tributary park. So if you subscribe, you can sponsor some sort of fruit or nut tree, and we will put a memorial placard for like a lost loved one or someone fallen or someone you want to inspire or whatever. And it's called the Garden of Friends. And that way,
Love it.
lost but not forgotten kind of thing, And
I love
I
it.
love vets. I got a lot of respect for the vets, so we'll probably stick some. My wife's dad had died in a snowmobile accident, and so we just kind of got to thinking, like, what is something that we could do to help build community? So that's the newest thing, is sponsor an apple tree or something.
Yeah.
And then so
Well,
whatever
you know
we
what?
grow will go to the families in need as well, right? It'll donate fruit or food or whatever. So yeah,
I'm into that. And I would love to connect and be a part of that.
sure,
And would love to put a plaque up of my late fiance, so we could
100%.
do that.
And
Yeah.
that way I can film little because I don't want to do sub only stuff, right? That's like might help people. So I kind of took the model from Angel Studios, where it's like the people that can afford to pay, and the people that don't get to enjoy it, like pay it forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that way I could just do little tributary park videos, and the sub people can see their little plaques and see how the trees are doing and that sort of thing.
It's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Love it, man.
feel free.
I
Links in
love
my
it.
bio. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm definitely.
So yeah, but
So you also discovered new things too, though, like your painting that we were talking
yeah.
about last time in the interview. So new stuff.
Well, that kind of goes back to that book then. Now that I feel adequately plugged, it's like pre-accident Steve and post-accident Steve being these two different people. They're strangers. They're total strangers. They don't even have that much in common anymore. And it's like I'm living in the post-accident Steve with pre-accident Steve's resume. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, so a huge turning point in my entire car accident journey was that. And one day the kids left their paints out, and I'm not an artsy guy. Like, I just don't. I used to do poetry and cook and things like that to be creative, but I don't even appreciate art, to be truly honest. To go to the Louvre would not be on my top 100 list, and it's just never been my thing. And then I painted a painting, and it was like not. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's not bad. I showed my wife, and she recognized what I painted. I think that's a win. And
Mm-hmm.
it was very clear that that was like a old dog new tricks. That was the first thing that after my accident that I did that I was new, that was okay, that I was good enough, that I was happy with. So I framed it and put it on the wall, right on the way to the coat,
Yeah.
right on the way to the car
Oh,
keys there. So it was like a constant reminder. I put it right in my face, and that's what she talks about in the book. And she says, because she had a master's degree and used to be a teacher and can't do any of this stuff, a professor. And one of the lines in the book is something like, the more I embraced post-accident Carol, the less, kind of like the less I looked back. And she goes, one day I took the accolades off the wall and put them in a box. And now those are in a box in my attic that I don't feel the need to look in anymore.
mm-hmm.
And it just hit home. It was like, so if I could come to terms with the new normal and just accept the deficits like I would if I had lost a leg or whatever, like something undeniable like that, something tangible, then I could just move on, right? Instead of living in the past. Because I had always been like a very forward thinker. That was a huge change for me. I was always, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? What are my kids going to be like? Will I marry? Will I get married? What will life be like? I was very forward thinking. I didn't go on vacations because I was always living in the future, missed the present, worked 80 hours a week, just hell bent on securing a future. And then all of a sudden I was this guy that lived in the past, and I found myself saying like, "Oh, I used to be able to do that," and that never even crossed my mind. I used to be like I'll figure it out kind of guy, rather than oh, that's just another thing I can't do kind of guy. It was bizarre. I felt like it was unfamiliar. And that, so little changes like that, embracing, seeing positive benefits. I said that to my wife. I said, one day we're going to take a box of food and put it on someone's porch, and they're going to say, you saved my life. We're so broke, we're so poor, we're so dire straits that, and it's like, I told her, I said, when that day comes, it'll all be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that took my accident from being a dead end, decision wise and hopes and dreams and plans, to becoming a detour. Now, we're still making a forward progress. It's just changed the trajectory a bit. We're just not going that way. We're going this way, but we're going.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where for probably 2 years it was over. And I mean, that's a hard place to find hope. And all you have is yourself and that grit to drag you through, whether you want to or not. Like I said, that's the turning point where people break.
Well,
Unfortunately, it
and
wasn't me.
it's about having a good support group around you too, and it seems like you have a really good support group
Yeah,
as well.
after I met my wife after my accident, I moved to the Maritimes alone. I don't have family for 1,800 kilometers or something. I was completely alone.
You just got up and left. You said that's where I got to go, and then you just left, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
would have been
crazy
like 2015.
and life changing though for you as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Change isn't a bad thing, I see that a lot now. People got this conception, because like you say, I'm trying to do this mental health kind of TikTok as well, and I see a lot of
Mm-hmm.
comments, and like there's a guy. I was only at this a few days, and I don't know how bad he was, but I think he was in a pretty bad spot. Like, who knows what he was contemplating, but he was in a bad spot with his ex or wife or whatever, and over the kids, and it's like I told him, I was like, everything had to happen for me to be here, to be sitting here on TikTok. I never would have come on TikTok if it wasn't for my brain injury. And it's like, okay, so, and I talked to him. He said I talked him off the ledge, that I saved him from doing something real stupid. And like,
Good
I
for
just
you.
happened to meet a guy in a real low point so then it's like, this huge concept for me that's come along since my accident is necessary steps. If they're necessary steps to get to right here where I am today, how can I call them a tragedy? Let's say, for argument's sake, I talked a guy out of suicide, that I was only on the TikTok because of my car accident. And then it's like, how can I say that my car accident was a tragedy if it saved someone's life?
Exactly.
And then the moment that clicks, the next thought is something that I still haven't forgiven myself for is like, how could you be so abusive to yourself mentally, you know? And it's something I see a cognitive behavioral therapist now who's trying to help put life back together and some of the behind the scenes stuff. And that's one of the questions she asked me. It's like, because like along the way, you kind of, I realized like you cherry pick the good things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like you look back and whatever, you want to be at a different time in your life and high school or whatever, but you won't remember the acne or the awkwardness trying to get a date for the prom or what, you know what I mean? You only remember being like in super good shape and being young or having hair or whatever. It's like we have very selective recall. And I spent years wanting to go back. I would say probably up until 6 months or a year ago. Like my accident's been 5 years. And it's like, got to the point where it's like I like the way things are going now. I got to be home with my kids while they grew up. I would have been working 70 hours a week as a stranger. I wouldn't have even known who they were. I wouldn't even make it home to tuck them in bed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so that's kind of cool. I'm also, growing food for people that are in need and housing people that are in need and now talking to people that are in need. And it's like all these things come from that accident. And it's like, if I do a lot of thought experiments, and it was like, what if I'm walking down a beach tomorrow and I pick up a lamp and I rub it and a genie comes out and says, I will snap you back to the day before the accident. Would you go? No. Now the answer is no. And then it's like, well, then what were you so pissed off about for the last 4.5 years? Why
Mm-hmm.
and talk so horribly about yourself if and
Do,
punish yourself if you wouldn't even go back if you could now.
do you think it's the fear? The fear that made you like that, the fear of unknown. But now that you've gone through all this stuff and that you are in the spot that you are today, that it's not as scary, and that's what
Yeah,
made you want to go
yeah,
back at the time.
yeah. I scared of accepting that injuries was a huge problem at the beginning. I just wanted to wish it away, right? It's like we all get like that when something bad happens. Suddenly, people start praying. People that aren't religious,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
motivator for sure. But it's like if I take the actual facts, like what was negative before my accident. Maybe you're struggling or failing in marriage, or maybe your job is just crap, or maybe you're drowning in debt, or you're whatever, wherever you were. It's like if you actually put all of that into the decision, it's like you get to have the good things. Sure, you can do math again, but you also get whatever problems you had also.
yeah,
Then it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, now take a look at today and assess the parts that you like and assess what the problems are. So it's a package deal, right? And then it's like,
yeah.
like I said, I seem to be helping people a lot. And I mean, the comments on TikTok, I wasn't prepared for that. So instead of writing a book, because that would be a tremendous obstacle, I started the TikTok instead to talk about it on there because it's easier to have a little video. There's no
Yeah.
editing or ghostwriters, and
Well, you can do a vlog too. You know
well,
what I
that's
mean?
kind of
Like
what it's
just
kind of
not.
become, right? My
Yeah,
channel is just kind of, I probably got like 40, 50 videos. I post pretty much every day, and it's just a little video
yeah,
where it's like
yeah.
what
I
it's
see
like
it, man.
living, what it's like living with an injury, right? How I cope, but
And that's the thing though, like you like just like Raw Minds too. It's like we're showing people that it's okay, and that you're not alone. Everybody in this world has a story, right? And it's just like you are not alone. This is why this was made, is because, I felt alone at the
yeah,
time
yep.
of the passing of my fiance, and I didn't want other men to feel alone. So this is how this is created. And the same thing for you're going through a brain injury and you want to help other people out there and show that, you're doing this, you're doing the right steps. You've gone through all these hardships, but you're still standing here, you're still pushing forward, and you're making a better life, and you're welcoming in all these new obstacles, and you're killing it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Everybody thinks that they want life to be simple or
Yeah,
good. And
yeah.
it's like, no, you don't. Simple is going to take a city bus to put one piece in an assembly plant all day long. Is that the
Can
life?
I can I just interrupt you for a second?
Yeah,
We got a comment here, and I just want to say this, show this on the screen. I appreciate it.
no problem.
See, helping me right now. You know what I mean? It's just we're talking about it right now, and it's helping someone.
There you go. Let's go.
And this is what it's about. I just got crazy goosebumps. This is why we do this. To help each other. At the end of the day, we're brothers and sisters. In this world, we got to take care of each other, and it's fucked up because everybody's just fighting. It's all about egos. Everybody's got egos and money and greed. It's sickening. At the end of the day, you came into this world alone, and you're gonna die alone. You know, and at the end of the day, that's it, man. I mean, yeah, your mother brought you in this world, but you still came in by yourself. You fought, and like your hardest battle, really, is when you were a fucking sperm in your dad's sack. Really, that's the hardest. You think about it, millions of sperm, and you were the one that fucking made it. That was the biggest fucking challenge of your life. You are here because of that challenge.
Yeah.
There's so many billions, quadrillions. I don't even know the number you would call it that will never make it.
Correct.
And you're sitting here now because you made it.
Correct.
So people got to look back and be like, it's true. I fought from the beginning to get here. Why give up now?
Well, it's the same thing. It's like, go ahead, on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And why you didn't give up then? Why are you gonna give up now in life, right? And this is why we have platforms like this, like yours, Steve, like ours, and many more, tons more out there to help and show people. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm fucking struggling right now.
Yeah.
I struggle. I'm struggling. I got some personal shit that's going on, but you know what? I show up here. I do this, and I want to help and push forward. I'm real. This is real. There's no Instagram fake shit. My life is great. I'm gonna be on a yacht with fucking all these women. No, man. Life does suck sometimes. It does suck sometimes, but it's a matter of how you work it, go around there, and just show up for yourself and keep on pushing forward.
Well, it's like change is the only time you grow, and overcoming adversity. Like you ask God for strength. He doesn't go, click, here's strength. He goes, here's something challenging to overcome, and you'll be stronger.
Yeah.
Trial by fire. Something.
Yeah.
Like it's like careful what you wish for. People think it's like watching the Leprechaun movies back in the 90s.
But yeah, I used to love those.
Jennifer Aniston, maybe, she's like 17 or something. And it's like they're all wanting the pot of gold and they think that they got it all sorted. I want it right. And then it's like it ends up biting them. And it's like that's kind of how life is. It's like if you wanted the life that people, I don't mean you personally, I just mean people.
Yeah.
People, I want life to be easier and simpler. I just want to lay on a beach. It's like in 3 months of being on a beach, you'd be unhappy for a variety of reasons. It's like it's the grass is greener. You only think that now. And it's like if like I say positives, not in the sense of, I say it in the sense of like positive feedback, like a microphone. It's like I don't mean positive in the sense of life's great and everything's roses. It's like positive as in moving forward change, and regardless, in spite of the obstacles. Who cares if it's hard? It's like Jacko Willink. Good. If life's hard, good. There's an opportunity to learn, good. An opportunity to grow stronger, good. It's like that's the attitude you need. Life is never going to be easy. Nobody's got it easy. Jordan Peterson talks about this all the time. You're sitting there working in your cubicle and you're jealous of your boss because he's got a Corvette and it's convertible and he may seem to have all this money. And it's like, meanwhile, the guy's got third marriage and his kids are estranged and he's on medication
Just
to try to it's like
go home, drinks a whole bottle to himself.
Yeah.
Just
Well, they're cherry picking. See, they're just, I want that car. I don't want to work that much, but I want to get paid that much.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. Life's a package deal, and
Yeah, man.
all of it comes together. So, where I was in life prior to my accident isn't worth the things I lost. How about that? Where I was in life, how life was going, isn't more valuable than the things that I have the opportunity to, like, we're not rich. I got holes in my shoes. I mean, we're struggling also. But I'm in an opportunity where somehow found a way to be able to still help folks. And I mean, that's all we're about. If that costs us, so be it. I have a GoFundMe. We're up to $200 now. Watch out. And that's for the housing project.
Plug it, man. Plug it.
Yeah, it's all on TikTok. Everything's on TikTok at Men Thrive Daily.
And you'll be able to find it in the description below.
Sure. Yeah.
So check it out, and you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I've got a GoFundMe for the housing project. So when I post videos on TikTok, I've got orange font. Those are the housing project videos with orange font.
Okay.
And then I've got a PayPal for if anybody doesn't want to pay the overlords their half 50% cuts. And then, like I said, there's a little Linktree store which actually have products in there which I actually stand behind. It's not just a bunch of supplements and vitamin this. It's like the weighted blankets and books that I've read that help my life, things I would actually vouch for.
I love that, man.
And then the tributary park, that's for the subscribers. So I made brackets for the subscribers. So there's like a low entry one, a middle, and a kind of an upper one. So yeah, so.
Well, I will leave a spot for me definitely when I get my shit together over here. Because like I said, I'm just dealing with some stuff. I will definitely, and I would love to see a plaque up there with my late fiance's name on it, definitely, to honor her. And then also that's going to help other people in the future, right? And put food on people's plates. And I love 100%. That. So.
And if you're an eco person, it's good for the environment. And if you care about helping people, it does that. If you care about nostalgia and something special for a loved one, it does that also. And
it's going to give animals and extents to play. Right? Yeah, and it's going to give housing for animals and insects and stuff too. So it's a full circle at the end of the day.
Yeah, yes. And like I said, I got a sawmill, so I can just make custom little placards, and I'll get the plans to get like a CNC machine and kind of write whatever you want.
Yeah,
whatever you want.
Love it. CNC. What's a CNC?
It's like almost like a laser engraver.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Because I looked them up on like Etsy. It's like a $200 for a little thing, and you can get a CNC machine for probably $400, and then make as many as you want. So
Temu, man. Yeah. Everybody's got on that Temu fucking train right now.
You only use it once off Temu, and then it's cooked.
I've never bought anything from there, but I know people that like they go crazy with that shit.
We're trained to want junk.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
It's the same thing. I'm on a mission right now to try. My number one goal on TikTok right now is how do I teach somebody grit? That I'm trying to figure that out hard. So I can bottle it, because I watched a thing. I got restricted for my first live because I talked about the Holocaust. And I was just referencing a book. I was reading Man's Search for Meaning, which is supposed to be like one of the best books ever written about a guy that was there. And I'd seen a TED Talk, and this going back a few years, 2013 or so, I watched a TED Talk on a girl that talked about post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic growth. And she said they interviewed Holocaust survivors, and there was two groups of people. There was no one in the middle. Nobody in the middle that was 50-50. She said there was one group that felt like they'd lost their life and everything was taken from them and they were just miserable, died with depression, died alone. Then you have the other group, which was the post-traumatic growth group, and they're like second lease on life. I get to see my kids again, just boundless hope, happy to be out of there. And then she said at the end of their lives, they had the same 5 comments, but they were the opposite. The post-traumatic stress group was, I wish I would have taken more time with my kids. I wish I hadn't have worked so much. And the post-traumatic growth group was, I'm glad I didn't work too much. I'm glad I took more time with my kids. And it's like, so how can people in the identical scenario have such different outcomes that completely change the rest of their life? Perspective. That's it. That's it. And then I thought about it like, okay, so if I want to shoot a 3-point basket and I'm going to stand right off in the corner and I'm shooting a 3-pointer, it's got to be a swish basically, right? And the more I come around the front, the more I get to use a bit of backboard until I'm straight square at the front. And now I've got an arc that anywhere from here, off the backboard, into a swish, it's like this huge, that shot got like half as difficult from being from over there to being from over. And it's like, the ball hasn't changed, the distance hasn't changed, the hoop hasn't changed. Nothing has changed at all except for where I'm standing relative to my obstacle. If I stand over there, it's twice as difficult. If I stand over here, it's half as hard. Okay, how do I teach people? Come over here then. How do I teach you that? Oh, my wife's this and my kids are that and somebody's got this illness and then the drinking alone. because they stay over there in the corner, and it's like, bro, come over here.
Say what? Definitely.
Yeah, that's that lead a horse to water.
Yep. Can't make them drink up. Yep.
It's tough
It's true.
because, especially in this mental health life, like I'm in some support groups and stuff, and it's like the amount of people that I see just turn to some sort of substance, drinking or, it's
Yeah.
like, man, there's like a better life just on the other side of that decision. Breaks my
You
heart.
know, and a lot of it is generational trauma too that they
Yeah.
pass down. And it's sad to say, but kids are monkey see, monkey do. You're gonna watch your
Hmm.
dad drink all the time
Hmm.
and get fucked up. You know, eventually you might go down that road. It's about 80% you're gonna go down that road, and that's why we have to break these
Yeah.
chains.
I quit drinking in 2019, probably 6 months before my car accident, 8 months before my car accident,
Good for you, man. Good
which,
for you.
like, I went through 9 of the top 10 causes of suicide the year before my accident, and that was the
Like
only one.
in your head, you mean?
No, just like I went, failed marriage and lost the house and had a death, and like my dog died the day after my grandfather died, and all these things, and then I got in the accident, and then I went through identity theft twice. Somebody got $10,000 worth of CERB handouts, and in
Oh
Ontario.
yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, it's been a road, and then we were almost homeless 2.5 years ago, and my daughter had a seizure, and a car tire blew off my car when I went to pick my wife up from the hospital.
But that's grit right there. You know what I mean? Like that's grit, and you can't, like you said, you can't teach that shit. And like Owen said, you just got to learn it by going through it. You know, and that's like me. I've lost I would say over 40 friends in my life. Over 40 friends. I watched every single one of my family members pass away in my house. Owen knows. Like he met my yeah. You were there for some. Yeah, I was a kid, and my mom was a nurse and my dad left. My dad ended up trying to stab my mom
Mhm.
when I was 5 years old because he was cheating on my mom with a 22-year-old that was going to BCIT, and we found out. And she was living in our house, right, going to school. So my mom finds a letter in the lunch or something like that. I don't really remember. I was 5 years old, and she kicks him out. And then my dad comes home. He was a longshoreman. He was a drunk, and he gets mad and snaps, grabs a knife, starts chasing her around. I tell my dad to stop. I'm at the top of the stairs. Turns to me, he says, "Fuck you, you're a mistake," and kicked me down the stairs, and I broke my ribs at 5 years old. And then I didn't have my mom. I didn't have my dad there anymore. It was my mom, me, my sister, my aunt moved in, and my grandma moved in,
Mhm.
and then we had all our family members coming over, and they all wanted to die in our house because my mom was a nurse.
The nurse, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't want to die in the hospital. So I watched all my family members take their last breath as a kid. I didn't really have a childhood, right? I didn't get to. So, I went through all this trauma and then I went down the wrong path. I was in the gang life for a little bit dealing with, stupid shit because I was just trying to find myself and find
Because they
family and
offer you
find a place.
something you don't have.
Yeah,
Different kind of
you know?
community.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was just looking to be. Yeah.
Same reason a
And
lot of
Owen
guys join the
actually.
military for that.
Yeah. Well, Owen was there for a good part of my life in that. I mean, yeah, we had some goods and ups and downs, don't get me wrong, yeah. But I was just stupid. I was just a little punk and
You're
my
lost. You're lost,
yeah.
right? You don't have
And it
that compass.
yeah, and like this guy that I thought was one of my best friends ends up shooting at my house and trying to kill me. He missed me by 2 feet, put a bullet through. My girlfriend at the time was sitting on a computer. One of the bullets comes through the wall and hits the computer screen, just missed her. And my mom was just standing up at the top of the stairs and she just said, I knew this was going to happen. She just had a cup of coffee. She's like, I knew this was going to happen.
Hmm.
And I slowly, at that point, knew I had to change my life, but I just didn't know how to get out of it. I was still stuck in it, you know?
But what
And
makes you
then
choose to change and other people
my
don't?
daughter, man, my daughter was it. I'm not going to lie, it was late at night and I was selling drugs and I get a phone call from my kid's mom and she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, I'll call you right back. And I hung up the phone on her. I called my best friend, my other best friend, and some other guys, and I said, "I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I want to be a dad. I can't do this while being a dad. I
Yeah.
want my daughter to have a future." and it was all about respect. I was rolling around with the Asians, and it was all about respect. And they said I wasn't as deep as, they let me go. I wasn't super deep. I was just yeah, exactly. And they respect that. And I called her right back, and I said, okay, I'm ready to be a dad. And I walked away from everything. That moment, I walked away from everything and changed my entire life.
Yeah, that's admirable because, like, I have a buddy like in Ontario that was like that. You gotta know, we were dumb kids, and he got a girl pregnant. It had been early 20s, and all of a sudden it was like, you know, drinking on the weekends and playing video games to got a job at a mine.
Yeah.
I think he was like 23, still works there. Like, just
Really?
turned into an adult overnight. One
Yeah.
of the most, like, proudest things I've ever seen anybody do. Couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens? How do you get there if you don't have that moment?
See, that's the hard thing.
It's like people that quit
That is hard.
smoking. Unless the doctor's like, you're going to die if you don't quit. Who quits? Nobody. It's like...
Even some people don't quit when
Yeah.
they tell them they're going to die, and some people don't even quit. They
But
keep
it's
on
like
going,
without
right?
that inflection point, if you'd never had a kid, where would you have been?
Yeah.
Or what if she never
I'd
called
probably
you?
be dead. I'm telling you, I've been shot at 5 times in my life, man, and I would have been probably dead, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I never grew up really with my dad. He was in and out of my life, and I just walked over my mom
Yeah,
because
of
I was
course.
just yeah, and I just walked over her. Yeah. And I just hung out with, a bad crowd. Not necessarily saying that these people are bad people, but they just
Yeah, it's a
chose
different life.
bad paths.
And yeah, it's a different life. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, how do you reach those people? How do you reach somebody? You meet somebody today who doesn't have a kid, who's in that exact same spot. How do you show them, like, bro, it's like, life is so different over here. You just gotta, whatever, put down the bottle or put down that decision. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard because you want to so badly, and maybe you've done it. Maybe you can say, like, look, I've done it. I've been where you are, and I've gone to the other side, and look, it's better here. That's what I'm doing on TikTok. There's people, like you say, the average person gets a brain injury and sees 2 or 3 doctors. That's it. I've had a lot of crappy ones. I've fired some completely flat out. Like, you shouldn't even be in the medical industry. I wrote one girl's boss and told her, I said, if my name was on the freaking business card and that girl worked for me, like, well, yeah, let her have it. And it's
Yeah.
like, so what if that's the only one you saw? You think, wow, they're all like
Yeah.
that. And then they suffer alone in their home. And then they end up
Yeah.
drinking themselves into an early grave because they're just hopeless.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot.
You're getting a little choppy there. Pretty choppy there, brother. Yeah. Sorry, brother.
It's the same thing here. My neurologist ordered me urgent MRI for my brain because there was some changes that was happening. And the radiologist got my file and marked me non-urgent somehow. Somehow was able to overthrow the neurologist. So the brain specialist ordered a brain scan, and the photocopy guy was like, "No, this is fine." So it's a 2-year wait list here. So I drove to New Brunswick, like 5 hours away, and paid for one. I was in within 3 days. Got a little DVD, a little waterfall. It was wonderful. I
Really?
had to pay out of pocket. I paid $1,000 out of
Yeah.
pocket, but it was immediate. It was the same week. I think I
Yeah.
called Monday. It was in Thursday.
Well, that's the problem with free healthcare too, right? Like, if
Yeah,
money
free.
talk, bullshit walk. You know what I mean? At the same time, like you can, if you got the money, you can jump ahead of everybody and just do
Free
your
with
shit.
a 56%
Yeah.
income tax.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. But
Pay for it.
I mean,
All
that
the care I get now is out of pocket. All of it. None of it's free.
really,
In Cairo,
really,
I get Botox injections. They're $1,000 every 8 weeks, every 2 months.
holy fuck. And the government, nothing, like
No.
no med. Wow.
Cairo, physio, massage, it's all out of pocket. So,
Why is that? Because it was
because our
technically
free
your
healthcare
fault for
system
being
sucks
there.
and it's broken.
Yeah.
And everybody, all these idiots get on the news and they talk about a role model, and it's like there's a very small group of people that think it's amazing, and it's like until you need it, you think it seems great until you really need it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, man.
Well, I had a friend, and he was in the hospital, and for suicidal stuff. I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna get in trouble on TikTok for that, but who gives
Probably.
a fuck? But yeah, so he was in and out of the hospital. They kept him there for about, I think it was only 4 days. They released him. Almost a week later, he ended his life. He threw a huge party, invited everybody. I think I
Say
was out of
goodbye.
town working, pretty much, but he didn't like. And then he at like in the middle of the party, he's like, "Okay, everybody get out. I gotta go to sleep. Everybody get out." And then 2 days later, no one could get a hold of him. 2 days later, a buddy went to his house and found him with his zap strap around his neck, and he was holding it like he regretted it, but it was just too late. Yeah, it's sad, and
Yeah,
like
my
they let
best
him
friend
go.
there, the one that grew up with the job in the mine, his wife hung herself like a year and a half ago.
Oh my god! See, like
The same
I
thing.
mean,
Reached out to all kinds of people.
yeah,
I hadn't heard from her in a while, and she's just, hey, how you been? And the next day, that was it. She was gone.
and that's like I said, my buddy was in the hospital, man, and like like I don't know. I think we gotta figure some shit out with that. Like all half the time all they do is they just lock you up in a room, give you meds,
It's a
and
hard problem to fix too.
yeah,
I see a lot of that with the brain injury. Every single one of us are different. How is a doctor? It's like people think that some people think that doctors, word is everything, but it's like the average doctor in the United States gets 20 minutes of nutritional training. Then you're gonna go
really,
talk to them, and then what? He's gonna tell you, don't eat this, eat that, don't eat that, be a
yeah,
vegan or be a carnivore or be a this. It's like depending on what doctor, you get a different opinion because the guys don't know everything about everything. They
yeah,
can't, you
yeah,
know. And it's like
yeah,
so you're gonna take professionals that all have different experiences and training and backgrounds, and some had C averages and some have A averages, and some people, and it's like then you're going to give them 20 people with a brain injury that all have absolutely different injuries and symptoms and problems, and it's like, or depression, everybody's got different issues. It's like there is no one size fits all. There is no pill that fixes it all. Every single person is in. It's like it's the same as when you do like outreach. Like I've followed a lot of like the trafficking type of stuff, and it's like people go and do a rescue and then throw them in the street, and they end up the recidivism rate is like they end up back in the same trade. Almost it's like 90 something percent because they don't have the skills to make it otherwise. They go to Thailand or Cambodia and rescue a bunch of girls, and then they bring them to America, and they're like within a month they're back doing the same thing here.
doing the same thing.
It's like you need a year of vocational training and language
Yeah,
barriers and job references and like holy cow.
yeah.
So how do you provide people get sick or have needs faster than we can fix them?
Well, and the thing is too is like a lot of the times in situations like that too, and this is even like changing friend groups and stuff is that's what they're comfortable. This is what they know. And even in relationships, when you get into an abusive relationship, and then you have someone that gets out of abusive relationship and then goes into another one, or goes into one that is not abusive, and then they say, hey, like this doesn't feel right, and
Yeah,
they usually
something's
break up
missing.
with the person,
Well, it's
and
the
then they
same
go back to
reason
the abuse.
girls in high school date the guy with the neck tattoos, and they're looking for something, and it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like it takes 6 years to become a social worker in Canada, but 6 minutes to become a traumatized for
Yeah,
that. Like you just can't. I
yeah,
don't know, man. It's a hard problem to fix. Life's getting harder.
definitely.
The 9 to 5ers, home ownership, things that were normal 30 years ago are not going to be normal
Yeah,
in three
yeah.
years. I got four
Well,
kids. I got 4 kids coming up. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
there's some
yeah,
hard obstacles on the way, man. Better have grit.
yeah.
Now's the time to figure it out because if not, man, the world's gonna swallow you whole.
Well, on that note, if you know how to make grit or to teach it, please leave a comment. Let us know so we can make this shit happen.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. So, what else do you got on the run here? Like, I would like to know kind of, what's next for your TikTok and what's coming up for you.
I'm not sure. Slowing down a bit. We've changed gears in the last month or two to simplify and prioritize. It's kind of the new strategy.
Okay.
And that's probably an ego problem because I never want to say no. I never want to let anybody down. And it's like a battery. It's another book to read is The Ghost in My Brain. It talks a lot about how you got like a mental battery and different levels of a battery I kind of group it
Yeah.
like almost like physical and emotional. You can think of a job that was like shoveling gravel all day would be like really physical but not really emotional, so you could still go home have an intelligent conversation. Or the other
Mm-hmm.
way, some job that was really mentally tasking, you could still go home and play basketball with your buddies or whatever because
Yeah.
So it's like kind of something along those lines. And it's like, my battery super quickly depletes. So instead of doing mediocre at a bunch of things, let's just kind of specialize in a few things or whatever. Be really good at a couple of things. So that's like a fundamental personality shift again for me since the accident, where it's like letting go of things, which has never been, like I said, unrelenting grit, not just grit, right? It's been unrelenting. Like I roll out of bed ready to rock and stay till the job's done. And don't put off for tomorrow. It could be done today. Like work a 16-hour shift. You know how many times I've had a tax return that was over 3,000 hours for the year? You know what I mean? Like working average 60. You know, like when I used to go firefighting in the woods and be putting in 15-hour days, 7 days a week, and it's just like now you want what? I got to take a job that's a 3-hour job and stretch it over 4 days because I can't handle the sun and I can't. Yeah, it's like be okay with that kind of productivity though. Great job. At least you got something done, and then you go to bed and there's nobody there to pat you on the back, and you got to be like, did a real great job. Can't wait to kiss my kids and be like, look what Dad did. So it's like there's a real foundational structural thing. It's kind of like I look at it, I always think like if you had diabetes and you needed insulin, that wouldn't be a crutch. You would just take it, that'd be fine. There's no stigma there. You'd be like, oh, I need insulin. I'm a diabetic. I got to take it. Okay, it's the same thing. I'm a brain injury survivor. I've got a small battery. I just can't do it. I just got to take a rest. Period. That's just how it goes. So it's like the new normal, trying to live a good life within those means, which is voluntarily limiting, which
without overdoing it and exhausting yourself at the same time.
But
like
being
you said,
okay
'cause
with
you
a
want to
little bit that you can do. That part of it's very hard for me because it's like it's like voluntarily kind of quitting. I have a hard time not seeing it as quitting.
Well, you're not a quitter. I know that for
No,
sure.
no,
Look
but you
how
know what I
far
mean.
you've
It's
come.
like,
But yeah, definitely.
you know what I mean. It's like I'm just not that guy, and I have to be that. I am now that guy. I don't want to be. It's the same thing. Men go through this when they're like, I feel 18 in here, but they're 55. And you try to play basketball with the young guys, and they just get crippled, and for a week.
But that's what happened to me. I went to go try play soccer, and I was like I used to be really good at soccer. I was like one of the best goalies in the Lower Mainland. My dad used to be the coach of the 86ers, and the goalie coach, sorry, right? And I had a soccer ball at my feet when I was like a baby, and I played for Slacks. I was really good. And then I dislocated my shoulder and I never played soccer again, and it blew me away. And I've never touched the soccer ball ever since that.
Well, you know what you got to do then.
You
Face your demons. Out you go.
Yeah. Well,
Get your cleats on.
I was like, I was at work, and after work, all the boys wanted to go play some soccer. And I'm talking like the last time I really played soccer, I was probably 19, 18 years old. 18 years old, maybe. And I'm 41 now. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's go play soccer. I'm thinking, I still got this skills and all this because you're stuck in your head with that.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck, did I not, man? I was out of breath. I was falling everywhere. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm like, I can't do this. And everybody's like, oh, pass it to Eric. Pass it. I'm like, fuck no, don't pass it to me.
I don't want the ball.
I don't want the ball. I'll just stand here. Yeah. So that was a big wake up call, definitely.
That's what I mean, right? Because you're not ready for it up here, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
That's the ego part.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, it's kind of in the same context of like, if I really help somebody, then because of the accident, like if I end up in a place, you know what I mean? And I've had a few of those already. I have to be honest. I've had quite a few. We call it Grit Gang. Hashtag Grit Gang is my thing on there. So if you subscribe, you get a little grit. It says in your name when you make comments. And it's just like, I've kind of, it's an interesting, when we first met, I was not this far along. I've got to a place in the last few weeks where I can see a tangible difference in people's lives.
Beautiful, man.
It's the guilt of punishing myself for 5 years is very hard on me, and I haven't sorted that part out yet. But
time, man, it just takes time.
I
You
just need
can't
more
do everything
positive
at once,
results, right, to outweigh it. I guess maybe
exactly, man.
But it's like
it's just time, and make sure that you don't beat yourself up. I mean, like you were saying before, the way that we talk to ourselves, like in our heads and talk to ourselves and how we treat ourselves,
Yeah,
you wouldn't treat no human like that. Like
never.
I wouldn't, you know what I mean? You wouldn't,
And you know what else
you
is
know?
like? People tell you that manifest and say it, and words have power. And I thought, what a bunch of nonsense hippies. And then you look back, it's like, holy moly, I ruined my life
Yeah.
for a while with words.
Yeah.
And
By
nobody
saying
and
that.
nobody even heard them but me. Nobody heard them. I
Yeah.
never said them out loud. I never said, what a piece of
Yeah.
crap you are. Like
Yeah.
it was all in here, and they were all right. Like the people that said that that I discounted and thought were foolish. It's like, man, they were right. I wish I would have listened to them. That's the one piece of advice. If I could go back, that's one of these rhetorical question things people ask you. Younger self, what advice would you have if you could go back and meet yourself the day after the accident? Is that it's like be gracious with yourself, and it's like the alcoholics prayer thing where they say, "Give me the strength to accept the things I can't change." That's powerful, and I've heard that all my life. I've heard it since I was a kid. It's like a thing. It's like a cliche, but it's like when it applies, it's like it's right on the button. It's like so many things I wanted to change, and I just about burnt myself out. I did. I burnt myself out trying to change them.
Mm.
Never,
Well, I mean,
never had
just
a chance to change them from day one, though.
well, just even like you burnt yourself out just trying to, all your brain injuries, you're like all the doctors and stuff, you're burning yourself there, stuff like that. Yeah,
That's it.
definitely.
That's it. And it's like, had I accepted that, like I do now,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
realized that I can't change them, and it's like, not that doesn't mean that I like them. People be like, "Well, I'm not happy about them." That doesn't
Yeah.
mean my life is easy. I struggle a lot. I have deficits. I'm embarrassed. I stutter. I forget my train of thought. do. I can't read the stories to my kids. My wife does all the book reading. I just reading. I can't really read anymore. It's like there's all kinds of negatives, but it's like I've come to terms with the parts of it that I can't change. So simplify, take a little bit off my plate, and prioritize and do well at the most important things. Because then, if I put more juice into less places, I can do better at fewer things and be proud of that. That's my goal. That's where I'm at right now.
So it's just about I don't even know the word.
Like streamlining. Like if this was a business, I would do the same thing. If I had 10 departments and 2 departments were net losses, they'd be shit canned. And we
Yeah.
do well at 8. Like same kind of
Yeah.
concept, just
Yeah.
trimming the fat. So it's like like focusing on being a dad, and like I said to the wife, because like I had a bunch of pigs this year. We had 52 pigs, and
Wow.
yeah, we had 194 animals this year, and I
Wow.
sold all the pigs. Yeah, yeah, I sold all the pigs, all the breeder pigs and everything. I sold them all, and because I want to focus more on TikTok. It's helping people in a way that is better than
It fills your bucket.
a
It
food
fills your
box can help them.
Yeah.
Giving somebody
Yeah,
a
and if
meal versus
yeah.
helping somebody turn their life around or accept change or loss or whatever. It's like it's and like I said, I've got 550,000 views. Like, so if you think suicidal people might be what 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 per thousand, multiply that in 500,000. It's like
Yeah.
1,500 people that maybe are
Yeah.
at the end of their situation. That maybe they saw me shooting a stupid video with a chicken, and they're like, "Man, if he can do that."
Yeah.
You never know, man. You never know how far that
Never know.
ripple
Well,
effect is going.
it's what is it called? Anthony says it the first time we met. Actually, it's the starfish effect. I think did Anthony when we had our initial interview.
Butterfly effect?
No, starfish. So this guy's walking on the beach and he sees a little boy and he's throwing these starfish back in one at a time into the water, and there's thousands of starfish on the beach. And the old man's like, "What? Why are you throwing them back? You're not gonna save them. There's so many." The little boy just goes over to the next one, picks that one up, threw it in. He's like, "I saved that one." And the whole thing is like, you don't know your reach. You don't know. At the end of the day, you don't know your reach. And there's people out there that do. Pardon me. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, that's kind of yeah, and that's kind of a big thing that's come along for me too now. Same thing, cliche. I discounted it. I thought it was nonsense all my life. Is that the journey and the destination kind of conversation? You have a
Hmm.
near-death experience and realize like it's not about the destination. You might not even get there. A car comes out of nowhere and you never make it to that destination. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like it is the journey. And then I watch people talking about what they want out of life, or what they think they want, or how they want it to be good or simple or whatever. And it's like, it's the grit. Then I thought, people climb up Mount Everest. How long do they stay up there?
Yeah.
Like a half an hour? You
Yeah.
spend months and months and months training to get up that hill. You're grueling through. It is not about the view. There's all kinds of other mountains that are just as pretty, that are a quarter of the work. You can walk up in a day or fly up. But that one, why that one? Because it's hard. People do it.
Yeah.
It's Goggins. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
running
He's crazy. Yeah.
running a
Oh no,
marathon
I
with
was
broken feet.
no, no, I was talking about sorry, the Iceman. The
Oh,
Iceman did
nice man.
Wim Hof. Wim Hof, man. You want to read a
Rough.
book? Read the Wim Hof's book, The Iceman.
Okay.
He does all the breathing exercises. He takes cold plunges.
Mhm.
He did Everest in shorts and sandals, I think. Yeah. Yeah, he that's like crazy. He does things that are just unbelievable. Like the cold does not bug him. He can like all breath work. The breath work, it's hard breath work. He's even got a whole training camp. I forget where it is, but it's a whole training camp for it. Like it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
His wife committed suicide and left him with his kids, and he just didn't know what to do anymore. And then all of a sudden, um, he this breath work just came to him, and the cold plunges and ice baths, and now he's the face of it all.
That's pretty
Check him
cool.
out though, Wim Hof, man.
I feel like I've heard it. I feel like
Yeah, amazing. His book is really good. And like on the topic we're on books, my favorite, and I'll say this every time, is Unfuck Yourself. It's called Unfuck Yourself
yeah.
by Robert. I forget his name, but it's amazing book. It's just real, raw. At the beginning, it says, if you don't like this book, I mean, if this doesn't apply to you, don't read anymore. Go gift it to someone or sell it. You know, like it's real raw. But like I listen to the audibles, and the audible's great. And he's a Scotsman, so it's even better for me. So you know, like it's got the oh, I'm Scottish too, but I mean, it's got like the accent, the whole deal, right? So it how it works is just beautiful.
Yeah,
So
I'll check it out.
unfuck yourself. Yeah. But so we're getting to the end here, but I got a couple questions I would like to ask. We like ask all the time. I know this is Anthony's thing, but he's not here today.
Okay.
One of them is so if you could go back to when you were a kid, what's one thing that you would tell yourself?
When I was a kid,
Yeah. To your younger self, what's one thing you would tell yourself to your younger
well,
self?
like I said, if when it came around time for to coping with the accent, would have been to be gentler, be gracious to
Yeah.
myself,
Love it.
because like
Okay.
the effort has always been there. As a kid, though, it's probably something like figure out a way for things to be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Crush yourself under perfectionism or fear of the unknown. Like there was a time where I got accepted to schools and like university, and I was like frozen because I didn't want to make the wrong choice and so I made no choice, like analysis paralysis. And it's like there's a movie that says this exactly. It's called Take Me Home Tonight. It's got the kid from that 70s show, whatever his name is, the skinny kid, and it's got Reese there from Terminator 1, Michael Bean or whatever his name is. And the dad's a cop, and the kids are out joyriding. They stole a car or whatever. It's stupid college humor kind of coming of age movie. The movie's not that great, but the line, and so the dad pulls them over in the stolen car, and he's like, the kid's like an MIT dropout working at like Blockbuster Video or something like that, Suncoast Video, selling, renting
Yep.
VHSs, and he's got an
Yeah, the
MIT.
good old days.
Yeah, and he's like,
Be kind or rewind.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And he's like, son, just take a shot. And the kid says, Dad, I don't even know where to aim. And the dad says, just take a shot. Sometimes it's worth it just to hear the gun go off. And it was like, man, that is so,
That's deep, man.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that is deep.
it's like, just jump, because it'll work out how it's going to work out. It's going to work out some way. And your influence is like, it's like being in the river. The river is going to beat you. You're going with the river. It's stronger than you. You can kick and scream and piss and moan all you want, but at some point you'll get tired. The river will not. So you're better to grab a little drink with an umbrella, put your feet up, dodge the rocks you can, and just enjoy the ride because it's going, like it or not. We think everyone thinks they can outswim the river. I can outswim cancer. I can outswim a brain injury. I'll just keep going to treatment until I'm better. It's like a hardware problem, and you cut all the links. It's not going to get better. Period.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have told me that the first day.
Well, now you're telling people on their first days through your platform.
Fair enough.
So
That's a good point.
you know what I mean?
And then okay. So if I change someone's trajectory from experiencing those negative things that I did, how can I look back and say what a tragedy my car accident was? If I save a 10 people from that or 1,000 people from that,
I mean, it still is a tragedy in
Huh?
its own. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know,
But
man.
don't take a
I don't know. It put me in a spot where I tangibly help people
yeah
almost every day. How do I
yeah.
look at that and be like, I wish this had never happened?
See, I say that about exactly. Yeah.
But it's like
Well
things
said.
will work out. Mine was a car accident, and it's hard to see the forest through the trees. It's hard to see that on day one, but it's going to work out. Car accident, no car accident, it's going to work out. Just go with the flow, man. Don't worry so much. That's a
See,
big one. Don't worry so much.
and that's how. Yeah, exactly. And that's how Raw Minds was. You know, same thing. I lost my fiance. You know, but for her passing, we've saved 4 men's lives that have reached out to us and told us. Who knows if we've saved even more? You know,
Correct.
like the whole starfish.
Exactly correct. And
You
then
know what I mean?
and then it makes the tragedy not such a tragedy, you know?
Yeah.
Like in the bigger picture of things, correct, correct. In the bigger picture of things, like bigger than you and me and her and us, you know?
Yeah.
It's like in terms of globally, like you're 4 to 1. Like you know?
Yeah. So we're getting comments and people here. I'm just gonna post one. Someone said thank you. So you're very welcome, man. We appreciate it. This is what we do. You know, we're just trying to show true strength, man. This is what it is, right? But to go back to that, like, so how I look at it is, my fiance didn't die in vain. You know, she died in order. Her life had to end in order for 4 men's lives to live. You know,
Correct.
because if she didn't pass away, the Raw Minds podcast would not be here. You know, and then who knows where those 4 men would be.
They
You know,
wouldn't be. That's
yeah,
what I'm saying. This is like that psychology experiment with the train. And you got one person over here on this train, and you've got laying on the tracks, and you got whatever it is, 5 people laying on these tracks, and it's like you get to choose. Do you choose the one or do you choose the? Like I forget how it works. The train is going on the one, the group,
yeah,
and if you alter it, you can make it go to the one. But if you do nothing, you're
yeah,
just kind of like let fate happen how it's gonna. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
but you're choosing the lesser evil. It's kind of like
yeah.
that. It's like in a net score, like for me, I don't want to talk about your fiance because that's personal. Like
That's okay, man.
for me, I look at it in terms of like a scorecard. That helps me to process it. So I have this amount of losses, whether that's personality or deficits or things with my kids or whatever. There's losses. If I can generate this much gains, it's a net positive. Then it's like, how can I be pissed off about a net positive?
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't improve my life overall, but it's improved. There's more lives touched in a positive way that adds up to be greater than my loss. I have to be okay with that.
And you know what the thing is too is, like, it's the ripple effect. So you doing this and helping someone else, like you said, maybe it not improve yours, but it helps someone else. Well, now that person is probably gonna go off and, do the same thing. Not in the direction that you are, but maybe in something else, maybe in art, music, who knows what it is. But then it's gonna touch to another person, and another person, and another person. And that's the ripple effect. You take a rock, you throw it in the water, and you see all those ripples, and those are just people helping people, helping people, helping people.
Correct.
And that's at the end of the day, that's how we have to do it as human beings.
Correct. Yep.
That's how.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a cumulative gain. It's overall. That's kind of where it got to helping to process it for me. That overall, I prefer my life the way it is today than it was the day before the accident, with
Yeah.
the injuries, but also with the positive changes. So I have lost, and if we step back, zoom out one more step, the lives that it has positively my car accident versus my personal losses isn't equal anymore. It was for a long time. The first 2 years, I didn't even realize that was a big thing that we could have talked about is the burden is on other people. Like it's very easy to get caught up in your own. Maybe if you got cancer, maybe if you got whatever some sort of trauma, it's like it's hard to see outside of your own pain, right? So
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
just get hyper fixated trying to get better, trying to you're so wounded,
Yeah.
but you don't realize like you're burdening. You know what I mean? Like
Other people
take
and
the
your
time to say thanks to the people around you that are loving you,
yeah.
because it's hard
Yeah.
on them too. So
Yeah,
made me
definitely.
appreciate my wife more.
Well, I do have another question for you.
Sure, yeah.
What do you consider home? Like, what is home to you?
I'm not sure. Not really sure how to answer that. I've moved a lot, so it's not really a place. It's like yeah, it's cheap to say, "Oh, my kids," but it's true. It's like I'm very hyper
It's not cheap,
focused.
man.
Well, I
That's
know, but
not
it's like
cheap.
it's
That's
the cheap
yeah.
way out. It's the easy answer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not cheap. It's not an easy answer, man.
Well,
It's
it's
yeah.
like yeah, it's like it doesn't matter where we are. Like we're actually moving right now. We're
Yeah.
moving here in like probably next week, and it's like I don't care if we're here or there. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Like the
See,
other
we
place
had
does different, whatever, but it's like
yeah.
it's just a building, man. If we're
Yeah.
gonna move again,
See, like we had one of our guests on. He was Mr. ESQ. He's a rapper, and he was in jail. And we asked him the question, and his answer was the letters that he got because he was in jail. And every time he get those letters from his family and his kids,
yeah.
that was his home at that moment in time. Even though he's in the jail cell, you know, that made him feel like he was in home.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not a building for me. It's like two and we had our son, like we were like almost homeless in a camper, like a
Yeah,
couple years ago, and now we're here, and soon we'll be there. It's like I'm not really attached to that.
yeah,
Yeah.
never, man. Hey, Owen, do you remember the last question? I know it is Anthony's favorite, but I totally forget it. Even though we answer it, say it every fucking weekend. There's one more, man. Yeah,
Did have to grab your
yeah,
phone and pull up an old episode and scroll to the end?
yeah, really quick. Well, that's Anthony's thing, man, and he will be back next
We try.
Monday. I'm really sad that he couldn't be here, but I mean, he's on the fact that he's on his way to becoming a fireman, and we support that. You know what I
Awesome.
mean? And
Yep.
that's awesome,
Good
and
for him.
we love that. So, but he'll be back definitely on Monday.
Perfect.
So on that note, man, I just want to say, Steve, thank you, man, for coming out. It's been an honor to meet you. You're a friend and a brother now, and I would love for you to come back later down the line for
Sure.
new adventures and how everything's going.
Yeah, take you on a tour of the Tributary Park. Huh? What do you think?
Hell yeah, man.
Okay,
Hell yeah.
follow me. You can really just find me on Men Thrive Daily on TikTok. It links me to everything else. I'm
Perfect.
everywhere with the same thing. I'm on YouTube and Instagram and X and all the stuff. But TikTok's kind of the traffic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, follow Steve. Give him some love. Like what he's doing is amazing. And he's giving back to the community after everything that's happened. Look at him; he's thriving like no tomorrow. He's doing great.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty good.
just his story, my story, Owen's from past, all our guests' story. We came, and even your story. You guys come. Everybody has a story. We come from hard times sometimes. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
And if you need someone, reach out. I mean, you can reach out to us, and this is a good segue for me. So reach out to us at rawmindspodcast@gmail.com or our website rawminds.ca. We have resources on there all over the world. So if you're struggling, put up a resource page. And if we don't have it on there, shoot us an email and I'll make sure that I help you get those resources. I have a little trick up my sleeve that I have this little program, and it helps me any resources in the world, anywhere I can get it for you. So feel free. You don't have to even put your name, be anonymous. And if you want to sit in the hot seat with Steve, like Steve here, well, then, like I said, hit us up at rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. I will set up an interview and then we'll get you on. We don't push anybody away. There's no training process or whatever. It's just an interview to find out, your story, and we'll get you on and run you through everything. So much love to everybody, and we appreciate all of you listening in and everybody in the comments here. We really appreciate that. So And thanks again, Steve. I appreciate you, Steve, and we'll be in contact definitely, man. I
Okay.
love what you're doing, and we should collab. We should collab pretty soon here and
Sure.
do some stuff, man.
Sure,
I'd love to
absolutely.
do that.
Anytime. I'm all about it. So yeah,
Awesome.
whatever
Thank
you
you.
need.
And then I just want to say thank you, Owen, for standing in for Anthony. I know it's you're out in the Bahamas there with fucking no internet. So, but just so you guys know, Owen is Raw Minds family. He's also one of the owners with me and Anthony to Raw Minds Society, our nonprofit organization that we got a kick in the ass and start doing. We got our second annual meeting this Wednesday, actually. Yeah, we do, man. So, all right. And I just want to say I have a lot of people here from my gaming community at Red Dead Redemption 2 RP. You know, that's my escape, and a lot of guys here are listening and watching. So I just want to say a shout out to you guys and much love, and I'll see you guys later. So thank you again, everybody.
Okay, guys.
And this is Raw Minds.
Take care, guys.
Bye. Bye. Boom. That was good, brother.